Hey everyone, welcome back to MN Toori, where we dive deep into real stories that shape our world. Today, we're talking about one of the most talked about places on Earth, Afghanistan. A land of mountains, warriors, poetry, and pain. But have you ever wondered why Afghanistan is always in the news? Why the world never seems to forget it? Well, grab your tea, sit back, and let's walk through the incredible and often heartbreaking history of Afghanistan, told in the simplest way possible. Snow-capped mountain, the beginning, the land, and its people. Afghanistan sits right in the middle of Asia, between powerful neighbors like Pakistan, Iran, China, and the Central Asian countries. Because of its location, it has always been called the heart of Asia. This land has been home to many people for thousands of years. Persians, Greeks, Mongols, and many others passed through it. The ancient trade routes like the Silk Road ran through Afghanistan, connecting east and west. That made it rich in culture, but also a target for invaders. The people of Afghanistan are strong, proud, and deeply connected to their traditions. They speak languages like Pashto and Dari, and they live mostly in mountains and valleys. For centuries, tribes have ruled different areas, each with its own customs and loyalties. Crossed swords, invasions, and empires, a land hard to control. Afghanistan has been invaded by almost every big power in history. First came Alexander the Great in 330 BC. Then came the Muslim conquerors, who brought Islam to the region. Later, the Mongols under Genghis Khan swept through, destroying cities but also leaving their mark on Afghan culture. The country was always a crossroads, where empires met, fought, and faded. But one thing never changed. The Afghans never gave up. No matter who invaded, they resisted fiercely. That fighting spirit became part of their identity. The birth of the Afghan nation. The modern story of Afghanistan starts in 1747, when a tribal leader named Ahmad Shah Durrani united different tribes and founded the Durrani Empire. He's often called the father of the nation. His empire stretched into modern Pakistan, Iran, and even India. For a time, Afghanistan was strong and independent. But as years passed, internal conflicts and power struggles weakened it. And then came the era that would change everything, the Great Game. Man Detective: The Great Game, Russia versus Britain. In the 1800s, two mighty empires, Britain and Russia, were fighting for control in Asia. Afghanistan was caught right in the middle. Britain ruled India at that time, and it feared Russia might invade through Afghanistan. So, the British tried to control Afghanistan. That led to a series of wars known as the Anglo-Afghan Wars. First Anglo-Afghan War, 1839 to 1842. Britain invaded to install a friendly ruler, but the Afghan tribes rose up and destroyed almost the entire British army during their retreat from Kabul. Only one British survivor made it back to India. It was one of the biggest military defeats in British history. Second Anglo-Afghan War, 1878 to 1880. Britain tried again, won some battles, but still couldn't fully control Afghanistan. They made a deal to manage Afghanistan's foreign affairs, but left its internal rule to Afghans. Third Anglo-Afghan War, 1919. After World War I, Afghanistan fought again, this time to gain full independence. Under King Amanullah Khan, Afghanistan became completely free in 1919. That's why August 19th is celebrated as Afghanistan's Independence Day. Modernization and struggles. King Amanullah tried to modernize Afghanistan. He built schools, supported women's rights, and encouraged education. But his ideas were too fast for some traditional tribes, and rebellions forced him to flee. After him, several kings ruled, including Zahir Shah, who brought a long period of peace from 1933 to 1973. During his time, Kabul became known as the Paris of Central Asia. People listened to music, studied in universities, and tourists came from all over the world. But in 1973, his cousin Daud Khan took power in a coup and declared Afghanistan a republic. Then came another coup in 1978, supported by the Soviet Union. That's when things took a dark turn. Triangular flag: the Soviet invasion, 1979 to 1989. In 1979, the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan to support its communist government. But many Afghans didn't accept this. They formed resistance groups called Mujahideen, meaning holy warriors. These fighters, supported by the United States, Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia fought the Soviet forces for 10 long years. The war was brutal. Millions of Afghans fled to Pakistan and Iran. Villages were destroyed, and over 1 million people died. Finally, in 1989, the Soviets withdrew, defeated. But peace didn't come. Fire civil war and the rise of the Taliban. After the Soviets left, different mujahideen groups started fighting each other for power. Kabul was destroyed again during the Civil War. People were tired, poor, and hopeless. Then, in the mid-1990s, a new group emerged, the Taliban. They promised to end the chaos and bring peace. Many Afghans supported them at first because they brought order after years of war. By 1996, the Taliban took over Kabul and created an Islamic emirate. But their rule was very strict. They banned music, television, and education for girls. Women couldn't work or go outside without a male guardian. The world was shocked, but the Taliban didn't care much about global opinion. 9/11 and the U.S. invasion. Everything changed on September 11, 2001, when terrorist attacks hit the United States. The U.S. blamed Osama bin Laden, who was hiding in Afghanistan under Taliban protection. In October 2001, the United States and its allies invaded Afghanistan. The Taliban government collapsed quickly, and a new democratic government was formed with the help of Western countries. Billions of dollars flowed into Afghanistan. Schools reopened, women started working again, and there was hope for a new future. But underneath, corruption, poverty, and insecurity continued. Bombed the longest American war. For 20 years, the U.S. military and NATO forces stayed in Afghanistan, trying to build a stable government. But the Taliban never fully disappeared. They regrouped and launched attacks year after year. The Afghan army, trained and funded by the U.S., struggled to control rural areas. The war became America's longest military conflict, longer than Vietnam. Thousands of soldiers and civilians died. By 2021, Americans were tired of the endless war. White flagged the return of the Taliban, 2021. In August 2021, the world watched in shock as the Afghan government collapsed within days. The U.S. troops withdrew, and the Taliban once again took control of the country. The chaotic scenes at Kabul airport, where people clung to airplanes, became symbols of fear and desperation. Since then, Afghanistan has been under Taliban rule again. Girls' schools above grade 6 are mostly closed, women's rights have been restricted, and international aid has dropped sharply. Millions are struggling with hunger and unemployment. Why Afghanistan is always in the news. Afghanistan remains in the headlines for several reasons. Geopolitical location. It sits between major powers, China, Iran, Pakistan, and Central Asia, making it strategically important. Humanitarian crisis. Poverty, lack of education, and food shortages keep the country in global focus. Terrorism concerns. The world fears extremist groups could grow again under Taliban rule. Women's rights. Many countries and organizations criticize the Taliban for banning education and work for women. Refugee crisis. Millions of Afghans have fled to neighboring countries or sought asylum abroad. Even today, Afghanistan represents both tragedy and resilience, a land that refuses to be broken, even after centuries of war. Red Heart, the Afghan spirit. Despite everything, the Afghan people remain some of the most hospitable and brave in the world. Artists still paint, poets still write, and teachers still teach, sometimes in secret. Children dream of peace. Women fight silently for their rights. The world often sees Afghanistan only through war and suffering, but there's also love, laughter, and hope in every corner of that land. The future of Afghanistan. The future of Afghanistan depends on peace, education, and inclusion. Many believe the country can rise again if all ethnic groups, Pashtun, Tajiks, Hazaras, Uzbeks, unite for one goal, a better life for their children. But that's not easy. Change takes courage and patience. Still, if history has taught us one thing, it's that Afghans never surrender. And that's the story of Afghanistan, a land of strength, survival, and unbreakable spirit. From empires to wars, from hope to heartbreak, its story reminds us that peace is never free, and freedom is never easy. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to MN Toori, and turn on notifications so you never miss our deep dives into world history and untold stories. Tell me in the comments, what part of Afghanistan's history surprised you the most? Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep learning. This is MN Toori, signing off. Peace and respect to all.